We're live! Yay! Hello everyone, and welcome to the Pokemon panel, hosted by myself, Mia Easylay, a iconic and questionable drag entertainer. Today, I am joined by 4 people that have called me friend, but I've never called them friend back, and I would like to introduce you to all of them. To start, we're going to just go over a little introduction and get started on some things about Pokemon that make us very happy. So first off, my name is Mia Easylay. My pronouns are she and her. My favorite Pokemon of all time is Bulbasaur. But the best Pokemon type of all time is, of course, bug types. And today I'm also joined by some amazing entertainers and icons, including Caricature.
Hi, I'm Caricature. I'm a genderfluid fashion illustrator, drag content creator, the Draws Play Queen of Twitch. My pronouns are she, they. My favorite Pokemon is Chandelure, and my favorite type, because I have to be a typical gamer word, I have to go with fairy.
Not the gamer word right away.
This shit hurts! Can we curse?
I think so. I don't think
It's not. This is 18 up.
We're not on the front page.
That's fine. Thank you, Kara. We're also joined today by iconic, legendary. She streamed at least twice. Kenya Monhart.
Hi everyone. Hello. I am the beautiful, the gorgeous, the highly melanated queen of Connecticut, Kenya Monhart. Yes, ma'am. If you've heard of me, you probably have not. But guess what? It's your first time today. How you all doing? Yeah, love you all. Now, Pokemon, as far as my favorite Pokemon, I'd have to say Swampert, because, I mean, duh. I mean, it's a cute little baby. And obviously the best types are water types, because the water is the source of life. Hakuna Matata.
A very good choice, Kenya. We're also joined today by Stream Queens member, icon legend Erica Clash.
Hello, everybody. My name is Erica Clash. In drag, I use she or they pronouns. Out of drag, I use they them pronouns. I stream in and out of drag on my channel. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I'm a Gen 2er, so my favorite Pokemon is Celebi. And since Cara already said Fairy, and Fairy is kind of the obvious choice, I'm going to say my second favorite type is probably Poison type. I've really gained an appreciation for the Poison type, especially over the last couple generations with Fairy. And yeah, that's me. Oh, you might know me from Dragula. Whatever. Maybe not.
Thank you, Erica. And last and certainly least, we are joined today by new streamer who can be seen playing Hey You Pikachu, or Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Sissy Tops is here.
What an intro. My name is Sissy Tops. I'm a drag performer, designer, and hairstylist from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and makeup artist sometimes, I guess. I am a newer streamer to Twitch, and my favorite Pokemon is either Roselia or Vileplume. It's a hot tie. And that said, I am a plant lady, so I love a grass type, and I also love a fairy type. And those are my faves.
Thank you, Sissy. I'm so excited to have all of you here today, and we have a lot to discuss. And I'm very excited for somebody to message me angrily saying you need to hurry up because your hour is over. Because I know we're going to talk about a lot today. But I want to go over a couple subjects. First and foremost, I know that we're all Pokemon fans, and I would love if people had questions. They can send questions later on. But for right now, I want to start it off with what introduced us to Pokemon. How were you first introduced? What was your first game? Was it the video games? Was it a comic? Was it a TV show? What is the thing that introduced you to Pokemon? I figure we can go in an order of start with Kenya and with Erica, kind of follow what it looks like. So Kenya, what was your first introduction to Pokemon? How did you find Pokemon? How did Pokemon find you?
My first interaction with Pokemon, it started like everyone's interaction with Pokemon on dating sites. And my first interaction with Pokemon was actually Pokemon 2000, the movie, with Lugia, Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos, like that whole ordeal. That was my first like movie aspect introduction. My first game introduction of it was Pokemon Sapphire for Game Boy SP. The
Sapphire
blue
was your
one, the
first
little
game?
flip one that looks like a little laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was mine. I loved it so much, but the crazy part about it is that it was my first Pokemon game ever, so I would always play it to a certain point, and I never realized you could save the game. So I would just play the game to like a certain point and just turn the game off. So like all footage, any like data of anything, I would just completely lose. So like I'd always get to like the second badge and be like, why do I have to start over from the first badge every time? This is ridiculous. It'd be great if they had a save method, and didn't realize that until like later on into like playing it and realize like, oh shit, you can save. That would yeah.
That was your first introduction.
Yeah.
A classic. We can skip Kara. Hers is dumb. And then, so I'm kidding, Kara. What was your first introduction?
Yours is the cutest.
So
Yours is
my
the
first
cutest.
introduction to
do you want
Pokemon.
to save yours for last? Actually.
Oh sure, that's fine.
Okay, because yours is Kara's got the best one.
It's
My first introduction to Pokemon was I was at my grandma's house, and I was that awkward kid, and all my cousins lived with my grandma because my uncle's poor, and he too many times. He had like 8 kids. So I was just antisocial, and I just didn't like being around my cousins because they were all like straight. And I remember I went to my grandma's room, and the Tentacruel episode was on her television. I just was like flipping through, and I watched the Tentacruel episode, and I was just like absolutely amazed by all these little monsters. And then I was gifted Pokemon Red for the holidays that year. And that is my first introduction to Pokemon. So it was Pokemon Red, and my first episode of the anime. Pokemon anime was the first episode I ever saw. Was the Tentacruel one. Sissy Tops, yourself?
Ooh. Well, my introduction to Pokemon was actually I believe I saw the television show first and then asked for the game, but when Red came out, I got Red.
Mm-hmm.
I am the oldest bitch in the cut. Let's just start that off.
As a true top.
And I've played ever since, and actually today I'm giving my what I would assume young Opal in fashion school would have looked like. But yeah, I would say Pokemon Red, and then I just kind of slowly collected all of them through the years. I took like a short break in high school, but that's because I was like hating myself for being a queer in a small town. And but I've always caught up. I never missed any of them, and I've played since the beginning.
Thank you, Sissy.
My turn. So I actually came across the anime originally. It was like playing right after school. I got into that, and then I got my first pack of Pokemon cards, and I'll never forget that gorgeous, gorgeous Dragonair card that I got that day. So I started collecting the cards, and then I didn't actually get into the games until Generation 2, which is probably why I'm such a huge like Gen 2er now, because that was my first big introduction to the games. And yeah, that's how I got into it. And then, dragging my mom to the movies to take me to see Pokemon the Movie 2000, Pokemon the Movie 3, good times. Early 2000s. We love to see it.
Thank you, Erica. And then Kara has the coolest story.
It's also probably the longest. But I grew up not being allowed to watch Pokemon or play the games or anything like that because I grew up in a religious household and evolution was evil. But my friends growing up had like the cards or would watch the show or play the games and talk about it a lot. Like I had a friend who would bring the cards over and like we would look at them and stuff. And I always liked the art. I liked the character design a lot. So I would try to draw them. And I used to beg my parents, just let me watch the show one time. And if it's not evil, I get to watch it forever. And the first episode of it that I saw was the Eevee Brothers episode. And,
that's a good one.
And I watched it with both of my parents. I was 5. And so then they were like, okay, maybe this isn't so bad. And then it was kind of fine from there. Beforehand, though, I was at Walmart shopping with my parents and my grandmother. My grandmother kind of took me aside and we kind of walked around. I think my parents were Christmas shopping for me that year. And my grandma was like, oh, if you're good, like, I'll buy you something. And we were like walking around and I saw the Pokemon Christmas album that had the original voice cast from the anime at the time of like the Gen 2 run. And I was like, oh, my parents let me listen to this. Like they let me listen to Pokemon stuff. Like it's cute. It's got little cartoon characters on it. It's for kids. And so my grandma was like, great. So she bought it for me. And then I showed my parents, I was like, look what grandma got. And they were so mad. But they were like, it's Christmas. It can't be that terrible.
They're like, hey sis, it's Christmas.
I literally was going to say the same thing.
Truly. So like they were like fine, and that like is one of the few Christmas albums, as corny as it is, I think it's so camp. Like it's got some real good hits on there.
Bop.
We can talk shit about each other, by the way. It's totally okay. You can interrupt each other, Sissy. It's all right. Thank you, Kara, for that story. So a couple other things we want to talk about too. That's how we were introduced. Those are some favorite things. Did everybody mention? I think we've all talked about Johto. Does anybody have real quick question, just on my own curiosity? My favorite is Johto. I know Erica's favorite is Johto. I know Sissy's favorite is getting a warm salt bath. But is anyone's favorite not Johto?
Yeah.
What is it? Of course, Kenya says
Hoenn.
Hoenn.
Yeah,
love Hoenn.
I'm a Univist stan, so
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
I love Gen 5.
Alright, I'm sorry to go off topic. We'll talk about that more later. But I did want to talk about some queer characters in the Pokemon universe. So if anyone has thoughts on or wants to mention any characters, but there has been rumor of a lot of queer interactions in Pokemon. One thing that you can say about the Pokemon Company is it's always quote unquote family friendly, so they don't often express or talk about some of the queer characters in Pokemon, but we know they're there, and I feel like the Pokemon Company makes it known that they're there, or it's very obvious, but they just don't go into detail.
Anyone who says that Opal is not a trans icon is wrong. Period. Point.
Pokemon Sword and Shield, the fairy gym leader, Opal, is heavily rumored to be a transgendered woman.
I know, the gas.
I'm gasping because I had no idea.
She wears the trans flag all the time, and her favorite color is purple, but her colors that she wears all the time are light blue and light pink.
Yeah.
That does make
I feel
sense.
like it's kind of like a solid, like, the thing I feel like Pokemon does really well is that because they are a family company, and of course they're not gonna comment on it, they've always done a really good job of not leaning away from the feminization of masculine characters, which to me is just a clear to
Oh, fully.
saying we see you, queer people. Because and what's more is they don't necessarily always villainize them, but they do villainize them often, which I kind of love, because it's like carrying on that tradition of the Disney villain being the queer. And I know that that's not necessarily a positive thing for the queer community as a whole, but I do appreciate that there is sort of like that pop culture understood nod of like the queer villain, plus the fact that there are other characters that I'm sure other people will talk about that aren't necessarily villains. Are very clear. Anyone who thinks that Beatty and Opal aren't queers, I'm sorry. Period, point blank. That's just the way it is. Opal sees herself and her queerness in Beatty. Beatty has some anger issues because he has not dealt with his fucking gender dysphoria and all of his very clear homoerotic energy.
Also,
Dysphoria.
I feel like it's not necessarily bad to be a villain. I mean, we've all this is not obviously a Disney discussion panel, but how many of us bonded with the villains? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in the
I do
Pokemon
drag.
universe.
Yeah, same.
That's all what our drag is. I think that there's. Can we think of a couple other characters? Does anyone want to mention?
And I'm not certain if this is like the canonicity of this, but I've always felt that Ilima, who's the first trial captain in Alola, was somewhere on the non-binary,
Yeah.
genderqueer.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's definitely like a representation moment for me. So I appreciate that.
Definitely. Can you think of your favorite queer characters?
My favorite queer character?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like I have to go with the OG, obviously James from Team Rocket.
Yeah.
I mean, James is the obvious queer character. I mean, especially when it's like between him and Jesse, you'd think like Jesse would take the more feminine roles, but Jesse takes like the more masculine roles, whereas James takes the more feminine. And you're like, I'm like, bitch, work. I'm here.
He ran from a marriage.
Mm.
He
He has
did.
very strong maternal instincts and is very sweet to his Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Did they
plus
ever?
the big titty episode?
You never see them get together, right? Jesse and James.
No,
No, they're strictly friends. Also, Jessie is definitely like.
she's got some strong lesbian vibes.
That's what I feel. I'm like,
They're
they-
fully each other's beard. You can tell.
That's
that.
what I'm saying. Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
bearding.
Beard.
They're
Who said
bearding.
power
The
talk?
child.
100% each other's beards. Try to tell me that she is not a muff bumper. Get real.
Oh my god, and James, kind of hot.
I kind of put, like, not
I'd
gonna
do
lie, I
him.
kind of shipped James together with Butch.
Oh my
Butch.
god, that would be so
Cassie.
Everyone knows
fierce.
Butch. Like, come
Yeah.
on, like you can hear it in his voice.
That's what
Come
Kenya
on.
sounds like outside of drag.
Ah!
It is.
And I feel like there's like other nods to it, like even in the smaller characters, because like, and this might just be me projecting, but hikers, especially in the later iterations of the game, that to me is like giving bear representation because they're all kind of
Not the-
femme and they
The
all
Ursa Rain community.
you know what I'm saying? They're all a little sensitive, and they're giving like, especially in the redo of Pearl and Diamond. I'm sorry, I literally on stream one day was like, Hiker could get it. Like,
Oh yeah.
Or the biker gangs in Kanto.
Mm.
They're,
or
that,
trying to
that's
tell
that
me
leather
Hawkeye is not a
representation.
twunk. Like, get
Right.
Oh, plus all the whips in Generation 1.
Oh yeah.
And now I wonder why I have a kink about getting tied up and beaten.
Ooh, girl.
that might have more to do with
Ooh,
childhood,
girl.
with Pokemon.
Childhood
It might
obesity.
be kind of, you know. Wait, weren't you saying something, Kara, about one of the when we were talking about this earlier? Weren't you saying something about one of the beauties?
Yeah, there's a beauty in X and Y who in her like she's in like the battle mason, I think. Or whatever like the battle facility is in that game. And when you beat her, she's like her text that comes up says something along the lines of like, I used to be a karate master, but like my life is very different now. And the karate masters are all an entirely male trainer class, and now she's
Yeah,
a beauty. So it's like hinted and implied that she's a trans character.
There is so much like queer stuff in Pokemon that's fantastic. I think we're missing out on an iconic couple though, and nobody has mentioned them yet. And I'm giving y'all one last chance to talk about them before I say it.
I know you want to so
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, no,
It's the
you gotta
reason
say it.
happened.
Who are the two that are boning?
Wallace and Stevinger.
Steven and Wallace.
Really?
Even in-
Oh, come on.
from
Like,
Bolt
she's
Boy.
not.
Boy, get real.
Oh, if any of you have played the mobile game Pokemon Masters, when Wallace was and Steven were introduced into the game, they had a whole like little individual story chapter where it really leaned in to the like
Oh, Steven leaned in to Wallace.
definitely. But like they really took that writing and they're like, are they?
Oh, they are.
They make such a cute couple. They really do. And now it explains why Wallace got the championship after Steven, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Sleeping with the boss.
A little bit of sleeping with the boss. Not HR approved, but definitely fierce.
Not
Not
HR.
the HR approved. But it's
Hoenn
true
region.
though. I don't know. I feel
The
like Steven
Hoenn.
Wallace.
Oh god.
If we're
It's
gonna
the
talk
Hoenn
like
Hoenn.
stereotypical cis gay couple, Steven and Wallace.
You know,
so-
you know that they're at the bathhouse together. Let's not, you know.
Keeping
That's
it
why one of them
steamy.
likes water types, the other one likes steel. It's
I
a
think it-
douching reference.
Oh my gosh.
Wallace keeps it clean.
Really changes the context of an aqua jet then, huh?
Oh god.
Oh my
As long as the
God.
aquajet runs clear, am I right, ladies?
Oh, and then guess what flash cannon means?
Oh, you shut the fuck up. You would leave.
Oh, I didn't prepare for this.
Oh, did you not prepare for trouble and make a double?
I'm
Oh my
prepared to
God,
protect the
wow.
world from devastation.
This is 18 up. Like, we can do this. We can talk about this. It's okay.
We can talk about butt stuff.
We can.
Word.
It's alright.
What else
It's
is there
been a while
to
since
what
I've
would
been
there
on
be
the
to
internet.
talk about?
What? What were we gonna talk about? Not having sex in the Pokemon universe?
I
And
mean,
then
all
down
those
to the
eggs.
Pokeball.
They gotta come from somewhere.
We could also talk about muddy water.
Oh my god.
No, we're not.
Oh no,
we're
not muddy
not.
water.
Not
No,
tonight.
we're not.
Listen, accidents happen, and if any of you out there know what she's referencing, that is not an issue, okay?
Oh, Kurt.
I mean, we're also not going to touch on at all the concept of stockpile, spit, and swallow.
All right, so now I'm
Okay,
not gonna
now I
lie. When they
officially
put
ran
that
it
in
into
there,
the
I was
ground.
kind of like that's that gay.
There's
shit.
some good
That's-
moves.
That's what I yeah.
Can we think of we're about to go into the biggest subject. So before we do, does anybody have any other queer characters in Pokemon they'd like to discuss?
Yeah.
Or
I personally think, I know Mia hasn't played Coliseum in XD. I know Erica has. But like the Team Cypher admins, like Meyer B is so camp.
The
Like,
admin are super camp.
Disco Diva in XD, Samba Diva in Coliseum, and it's like everything is darling. Everything.
Oh, they're
is...
fucking drag queens.
Oh yeah, Venus.
Venus is
Venus
incredible.
is a drag queen. Fully.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
incredible.
With the headpiece and
Yes, with the
and
fascinator.
and the stone dress.
yeah.
Lavrina with her Valley Girl accent.
Who you've done before, Kara?
Yeah, I did. And then Snaddle as well is
Mhm.
really camp with his white lipstick.
Oh yes, and the headpiece, the like retro futuristic look that they had on.
Yeah, they're all like really ridiculous and they're lovely.
I still have to play Coliseum.
They're
It's
so
iconic,
good.
y'all.
It's sitting on
Get
the
it?
shelf.
Get yourself on the eBay and get yourself a copy. You won't regret it.
Yeah.
Oh. I would like to also, so I do, our best and most fun subject of the day is what made us come back, or what made us stick to Pokemon, because obviously, you know, when we think about video games and queer and being queer, you know, there's a lot of things that we stick to and games people play. You know, some people like this type of game or this type of game, etc., etc. But I know that a lot of us go out and play other stuff, but you know, if you go to any one of us and go, you know, what game do you want to play first? We're very likely to say Pokemon. You know, if I'm feeling sick, you know, and I don't, you know, and I want something to cheer me up, it's Pokemon. It's, you know, the nostalgia, the this, the that. What made you keep coming back? And maybe a little bit about, or anything about, like, you know, we talked about what made us get introduced to Pokemon, but, you know, did we keep coming back? Did you break off from it? You know, what about it makes this game so special? Why do you think everybody is so attached to it? What is so good but so wrong? The answer is nothing's wrong. It's Pokemon. It's fantastic. Would anyone like to go first? Because if not, I can fully go.
I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was super into Pokemon all the way through Gen 4. I lost my copy of Diamond, which had all of my Gen 3, my prized Gen 3 babies. And so I kind of took a step back from it. But then when Platinum came out, I started fresh. And for me, it's about the collecting. Like, I'm really proud that I have Pokemon from that original Platinum file from like 2008. And that they're still like traveling with me to the Galar region. And so for me, it's like the obsessive collecting part of it, like catching them all. And then I've even taken it like a few steps further. Like I've recently collected every single like in-game trade Pokemon, every single like shadow Pokemon from Coliseum and XD. So like those little projects just make it fun and interesting. And I just love looking at them all together in their like sick, demented hypersleep that is Pokemon Home.
Does anybody have anything else?
I see. I mean, for me, I think so. Growing up, more stories.
You can also get like sad about this. It's okay.
Oh, I mean, this isn't really like sad unless you think like, oh, that's unfortunate. But so when my parents
that's
found,
unfortunate.
so I brought my I remember renting like a Pokemon book from the library here locally when I was little. And at the beginning of it, it talked about like how Pokemon trainers start their journeys when they're 10. And I said something about it to my parents, and my parents were like, well, since I know these are video games as well, and you are 7 at the time, they're like, you are not allowed to play a Pokemon game until you're 10, because if the people in the game or in the world can't become Pokemon trainers until that age, then neither can you. So I had to like live exclusively through the anime and through reference books and drawing the Pokemon to like craft my teams and like make
my little like Pokemon toys out of it. So I would like draw them on paper and color them and cut them out, and I still have all of them from when I was like 7 until I stopped making them. And the big thing for me was like the new Pokemon, because there's always something new to draw, new ideas for characters to create that would use different Pokemon teams. Also, like the anime in general, like when they added contests in, and for me that was like I could have an option as a Pokemon trainer that wasn't being a trainer going for the gym challenge. Like I could just make my Pokemon be cute or really pretty and just showcase that and just make like a really elegant presentation. And so like I think that's really crafted a lot of the types of Pokemon I like and enjoy using, because it's very much got that feel through like most of my favorites. But yeah.
I love this story. Also, Sissy, you look gorgeous today.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I just want to see her move a little.
Am I moving?
Yeah, you're good. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
So
On my screen, I'm completely frozen. So.
you're fine. I remember when, I mean, I know I mentioned that when I was introduced to Pokemon, but I think like what honestly kept me going is, and this like gets a little cheesy, but like, I mean, we've all gone through it, or at least most of us. Like, I didn't have friends as a kid. I didn't have my first friend his name was Alan, and I was 16. Like, do you know what I mean? I did not have a friend. And then I had this little copy of Pokemon Red, and I would play it everywhere. I took it everywhere I went. And also, like, you know, divorced parents, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I remember, like, my dad would go to, like, baseball games or whatever. I took the game everywhere. And I got a Bulbasaur, and I named him Bulby. And he was, like, my best friend. And, you know what I mean? Like, I literally became a champion of an entire area with this Pokemon and my team. We caught legendaries together. Like, I don't think people understand this, like, bond you develop with this, like, fake character, this pet that you can have that's just so wonderful. And I remember, like, you know, and that's the thing too, is like when I turned, you know, 16, I was going through puberty and having issues. I kind of dropped off. So around Generation 4, you know, I wasn't playing as much Pokemon, and I didn't pick up again until X and Y era. But when I did, the game was right there again. It was like nothing changed. You know, I could still get a Bulbasaur. I could still go do this. I could still, you know, I still have these moments and experiences. And I remember being a kid and having, like, you know how Kara mentioned, like, you know, drawings, books, etc. You know, we as queer people seem to, on average, have more, like, I don't want to, like, talk shit about straights, but, like, I feel like we have more vivid imaginations, and especially as kids, you have these wild imaginations to be able to, like, go into fantasy worlds and put yourselves in situations, and it's a way to escape, you know, being sad, being young, being queer, you know, abuse, etc. And I feel like Pokemon was the perfect safe space for me that it still holds to this day. And it doesn't I don't have a bad memory with Bulbasaur. Do you know what I mean?
Fully compound on that, like being a queer kid in a small town with very conservative family who grew up in a very odd tradition of living and all of these things. It was 100% a form of escapism, and oddly, it's like a weird trauma bond you kind of create with a game. For me, like, it's something that I really lost myself in. It's something that, like, again, like Mia said, I fell in love with these characters. I always was drawn to, like, things that I never understood why my siblings really liked, like, the shoot 'em up, kill 'em games and things like that. They were not undergoing the same treatment from our parents that I was, and so I never understood why more violence was acceptable in their eyes. But
can I go off what you're saying too for just a second?
Yeah.
Do you mind? That's what I was gonna say too. To go exactly what you're saying is, like, there's these games that we played as kids or we watched other people play, like Halo or this or that. And I think that's what I'm just trying to explain with this, and Sissy's completely going off that, is you don't get a Pokemon experience in Halo or these other games. And I think that queer people, we've been bonded to it more because of, like, situations like that. If you want to continue, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but, like, I've thought the same fucking thing. Like, why is this game more important?
Like, you get to develop a relationship with them in a certain way versus, like, I understand like the beautiful storytelling, and now like I'm a huge Zelda fan as well, and you obviously develop empathy for those characters, and you obviously develop like a bond with them, but I don't feel the same way about Link, Princess Zelda, and the Koroks that I do about like when I finally get my Roselia through friendship, or like when I find, you know what I mean? It's like you genuinely, and on top of that, the game really smartly interjects a lot of emotional necessity, especially through the later series. Like friendship is important and things like that, and building friendship and building trust. It's like all of these really beautiful kind of life lessons that, you know, that we may have missed being those kids who didn't really get to have the cute childhood moment. So it's kind of like, I see it as like a place where I learned lessons, a place where I learned care, a place where I learned how to take care of things. It's such a cool and formative thing that we got to have as queer people who didn't necessarily get seen often. That was my answer.
I think also too, there's some unsaid thing about like, you know, you find another queer person that plays Pokemon and you're like, oh, you also were possibly abused, but like learned friendship through like, oh, did your stepdad also hit? Mine too. And you don't even have to say it, you just kind of know. And you're like, oh, did you hide your trauma through like, you know, breeding Pokemon at the daycare or going and getting your Pokemon massage, even though it didn't matter if they had friendship or not, you just wanted them to have a good day because it made you feel better. I mean, it's the sad part of it, but it's definitely true. It's the game, the anime, the everything. Like, it's so fucking cheesy, but like the friendship it teaches you, the core bonds of like, don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't abandon your Charmander because it's weak.
Yeah.
Well, and wild too is I feel like even stories with ours that are like more, I don't know if darker is the word, but it's so interesting because like even in Kara's story where like she kind of grew up in a situation where she got to like really develop the same journey, I guess, as the trainer itself, like, which I thought, that's what I found so beautiful about. I geeked out about your story when you told it to me, and I know this, we chatted about it, but I just thought it was so cool that like you got the same lessons that I got, and you got the same kind of experience that I got in a very different way and platform. That's what I love about it, is we all had these kind of unifying themes, but like our stories were so different, and that's what I think that the strength and power of the game is like everyone kind of gets the same really lovely takeaway.
Kenya, did you have any thoughts about, you know, growing up with Pokemon?
Well, because my first game was Sapphire, so the first Pokemon that I had obviously was Mudkip.
Which
So
is
I
your
actually
favorite to
nicknamed it-
today?
Oh, absolutely. To this day, I have like plushes of it everywhere. It's like wallpaper art of it. Like Mudkip is my overall favorite. Also, like growing up in a house where it was very conservative and religious, and not being allowed to like have pets was like very like insane to me. Like especially when you would have like friends and neighbors that would like invite you over, and they'd have a dog or a cat or a kimono dragon or some weird, I don't know. whatever's going on. Like, I don't know what's going on. And, like, people would have anything, and then, like, you go to your house, and you're just sitting there, and all you have is, like, 2 sisters and a big-breasted mother. Like, no one has time for that. Like, no. I wanted my own little kind of furry friend and my own little furry, like, little buddy to have a connection with. So then, of course, getting this opportunity to play this game where I can build that connection, it's, like, insane and oddly intense that you can build such a bond to such like an inanimate object basically. And I remember this one specific part when I was playing the game, I tried releasing my starter at like after I beat the game, and I remember I tried releasing my Swampert, and it came back to me because it didn't want to like leave, and that's when it like really hit me in the feels, and I was like, okay, so this is like more than just a game. This is like teaching me something about life.
This is your
And
buddy.
this is terrifying.
I definitely.
There are definitely
game
those chosen
gives you so
family.
much.
There's definitely those chosen family shades in there too,
Yeah.
because you select your team, and then it's also sort of touched on in the anime, like that the Pokemon chooses you too, or that they have to like want to be with you. So there's
They
some
can
of
break
that
out
too.
the ball.
Yeah.
And run.
You know what I mean? A shiny Graveler could show up and just be like, "Hi, I want to let you know I exist," and then blow itself up
Twice.
twice. I wonder who that would happen to.
Live both times.
Live both
Literally.
times, yeah.
Did I laugh
just-
at it when it happened? Yes. Did I also feel bad for you? No, well, no.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I thought she deserves this.
Listen,
Mia.
for the amount of I don't care what anyone says. Mia, I don't know whose asshole you licked, but your shiny looks insane.
Yeah.
Coming from
pretty
the
nice
person
if
who
you ask
still
me.
has never gotten a shiny.
Do we want to do any more trauma dumping with Pokemon, or we would like to move forward?
Trauma dumping.
Well, this is the sad part of the panel too. You know, I mean, we are talking about like, as queer people, this game really stuck to us.
Yeah.
It's likely to have some
Also,
serious.
can I add another thing that
No.
it was? I want to. I'm going to. Now I'm taking over the stream. It's my stream. Hi everyone, welcome in. But no, one of the things I thought was also odd is that like even in the anime, like technically Ash is going through all this and all of these experiences while still at the age of 10. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he's like essentially maturing as an adult, but at the age of 10. Whereas in the real world, we're doing it, but we're doing it, and then we're going on like 11 next year, and 12, and then 13. So like, it's kind of weird in a way to kind of grow up with this friend that doesn't know you exist, but you can watch their every move. It's great. And like learn so much from them, and from him bonding with Pikachu, and like no matter what region he goes into, he always carries Pikachu with him, and he always like for some reason Pikachu always forgets the last 4 moves it knew in the previous region, and starts all over again. But like, I don't know, it's something about that is also like tugs at my little heartstrings, and it also brings me back to keep watching. Because I also like, even now I watch the Netflix adaptations, I watch like things on Hulu, I watch the YouTube series, I watch everything Pokemon related because I always want to see like be updated to what's next.
Oh,
The
it's my-
Pokemon Arceus coming out in January.
It's my number one romantic thing. Like, I think that's why there's like this guy I got like a little attached to. It's because he brought me like a Pokemon plush on our first date. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Like, there's just
He was
something.
trying-
What?
I said, oh, he was trying it.
If you come over and you're like, I'm like, do you want to watch a TV show? And if they literally said like, oh, let's watch the episode where Ash catches Heracross, you can smash. I will let you take any item in this room and try to put it in my hole. Like, is that too much? If
No.
some family comes over. Anyway, so we're gonna move on to the next subject. So I have 2 options for the panel. If we'd like, we have some lovely Q&A questions we can go over, and we can save them for later if you'd like. But I would also like to talk about the future of Pokemon, what the future holds, what are we expecting. I don't know if y'all have a preference. I think we could talk about the future later and do some Q&A if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that
fine.
sounds good.
My first question comes from a lovely individual. Mia Easily asks, Sissy, why? Oh, sorry, that was my own thing. Liz.
Because you're fat,
ECC
you need to lose weight.
Liz ECCTV asked, how many are too many Pokemon? I love them, but there are just so many to remember. If anyone would like to take the floor, we can just go on this, because I've got opinions.
I personally really like the size of like the last 3 regions, where it's been like around 60 to 70 compared to 100 plus.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really good number. They can kind of take out some of the crappier designs. Like, as much as I love Gen 5 and I love what Gen 5 did of trying to be an entire reset of a region and having an entirely new dex, there are a lot of Pokemon in there that I don't really care for, as much as there are ones that I absolutely love. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know, if they cut the chaff and get the crap out of there, we'd have all these really strong groups per generation. And I think that's why like there's so many from Gen 6, 7, and 8 that a lot of people really resonate with. I mean, for me in particular, there's a lot in 7 that, as much as I didn't like Alola and didn't like playing through Sun and Moon, I loved the new Pokemon it introduced.
I feel like next gen they're gonna hit 1,000, which is gonna be interesting. I do appreciate also how they sort of are going back and like doing the regional variants, so they're not necessarily adding new numbers of Pokedex,
variants.
but it just creates, and it also just it does a lot of great world building because it mirrors, you know, our world where
Yeah.
animals like have these differences that just get stronger and stronger over time because they adapt to their environment. And so now that's like the biggest part of the speculation is not necessarily what new Pokemon are going to come, but like what are the new regional variants, and especially with Gen 8 creating like evolutions for those regional variants. It just opens up the possibility so much more to all these mons that like maybe need a little bit extra love and attention.
Well, and I feel like you can always tell when they jumped the shark a little bit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's a couple where you're just like, I don't know about all that. Somebody just that's
You mean-
Pokemon now.
You mean,
I think so-
you mean sock and throw didn't have to exist? Okay.
That's what
yeah.
You mean Pokemon Bert and Ernie?
Oh
Got
no.
Pokemon Bert and Ernie.
I think the biggest. I think there definitely is such thing as too many Pokemon or too many. But also on a positive note, if you don't like a certain region, you just don't have to play the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I like a lot of the characters in Sun and Moon, like the Pokemon, but I hate the region, so I just don't play it. Like I don't love Rowlet enough. Plus, like I can get it in Arceus now. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
I think that it's really fun. I don't think it's too bad. I definitely like the fact that they're only adding like 60-ish now compared to like when they went from 150 to 250 in Gen 1. You know.
Yeah, Gen 2 and 4 release around 100. I know Gen 2 was exactly 100 and the Sinnoh was like 100 and something. So I'm not mad at that amount either, but I do agree with Kara, like quality over quantity.
very
Yeah. There's also, I mean, everything's based on inanimate objects or characters and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, just like, you know, there's no poison octopus Pokemon, you know, but there's a blue ring octopus in the real world. You know, that's something that they could make a fucking Pokemon out of. You know, I think the creativity never stops, but yeah, the quality is definitely better than the quantity. But
I'm
every
just
single
channeling.
Pokemon is somebody's favorite. Every Pokemon, there's somebody out there that Pokemon is their favorite.
I'm just channeling Unova and Snubble with this look today, hoping that comes in Pokemon Legends Kyurem or something.
No,
Oh, please.
I was hoping for Legends Arceus and Legends Bidoof. I thought the Pokemon Company would have been.
Oh my god.
Listen, anything for a second for a dual version moment,
hmm
you know, because game people won't let
before
that die.
Before the next question, Kenya, do you have any comments on this?
I would like to see a Pokemon kind of based off of a dolphin, or more like kind of like
That's Kyogre.
whale-like or something. Well, no, Kyogre's based off of a killer whale, which I guess is technically considered a dolphin. But listen, we're not gonna get into semantics right now. I just want something that's like, you know, like different. There's so much variety in like our world that they can pull inspiration from to make like such like great like Pokemon. Like especially when you see like they call them Fakemon or something like that. But especially when you see like, the fan art that people make of Pokemon and how they make their own regions. I saw someone make a region based off of like the continent of Africa and like how they like went to each country and made specific regions for each Pokemon. And I was like, why isn't this person hired?
Yeah.
Why are we not throwing our money at this? Because like it was like I saw it, I was like, this shit's dope. I would pay $60 for this
Yeah,
in an
there's
expansion
a
pass.
there's a really cool fan game that's in the works apparently that is based on Egypt. And,
That'd be a really good region.
And all the designs that like have been released that the guy doing it has done are stunning. Like the grass starter is a giraffe that like has- and it like has it kind of ends up turning more like into a gazelle, but then like its neck is like a totem pole almost. And it's just like
that's sick.
really like
Okay.
verdant. It's really cool. Then the fire one is a snake, like a cobra, and then and it's like fire poison at the end. And then I don't remember what the water one was. I think
It doesn't
was like
exist because it's Egypt. It's
I-
fucking
It's
hot.
the canteen.
I think it was an
It's
elephant,
It's
maybe.
the camel.
It was
Um,
something, but it was cute.
Would we
but it
be
was-
okay with rapid fire questions? 'Cause
Go
as
for it.
Oh yeah.
Time is getting the best of us, and I would like to talk about the future of Pokemon. So we're gonna go a little quick answers on these ones, if that's okay with y'all.
Yeah.
What Pokemon do you think they got the typing wrong? And if you could, what type would you change it to? I would say Grappalock, that should have been water fighting.
Yeah.
Oh,
The fact that it's in the water, it's fucking stupid. And you have a fucking or what the fuck is the stupid teddy bear that you find that wants to punch you in the nuts in Isle of Armor?
Beware.
Beware.
No, Isle of Armor.
Oh,
Cubfu.
Cubfu.
Cubfu can evolve into
Oh.
fire, fighting fucking water, but the fucking Grappalot can't.
Oh, I feel like they should have made Gyarados. They should have gave him like at least a dragon attribute.
Water
Instead of
Dragon,
water
yeah.
Flying, it should have been like water dragon.
Subtle Widow being a rock type with a tree.
You
get
leave
that.
Pseudo-Ludo alone. He is literally called Pseudo, as in fake. He is
Yeah.
fake wood. Girl, he's a dildo.
Her hands. It looks like a fucking tree to me, bro.
That's the point.
Bitch, you can grind it up and smoke it either
That's
way.
the
ho.
point, is he's trying to blend in. He's a
Yeah,
shot. Whatever,
it's
you're a bitch.
camouflage. Its pre-evolution is based off of a bonsai tree.
A tree.
Exactly.
Shut up, sissy. You're wrong. I'm right. Kara,
No.
Erica, can you think of any before we move on?
I mean, obviously Psyduck. I feel like Celebi could have been
Oh.
Grass Fairy, even though that typing is not great. There's
Psyduck should
probably
have been
more
Water
I'm
Psychic.
blanking. Yeah, there's more that I'm probably blanking on, but
You're fine.
those are the two that stand out.
Kara?
There's a few. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but like,
Lugia.
yeah, there's
Lugia is
Yeah,
another
oh
one.
yeah, because it wasn't.
I think we can all agree Lugia should have been the Pokemon to get a different type.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
wasn't Lugia supposed to originally be like water flying or
Water
something
flying,
Like that?
but they changed it to
And then they
Psychic, and
changed
the
it to
only reason they
Psychic
changed it to
because-
Psychic was because Psychic was super overpowered, and that's why they did it, and the guy that made Lugia died. He was an alcoholic.
Oh yeah,
Sad.
there's a whole thing.
Look up the
with-
Lugia thing. If y'all want a gag after Stream Queens Con is done.
He's had a really sad life.
Oh, it
Because
was
of the
bad.
anime. Like he made Lugia exclusive for the anime. It wasn't meant to be in the games, and then they put it in
Mm-hmm.
the games. And he was like he had like creative control over a lot of the anime. And then they started making choices after he left that he really was upset by and could not handle it and became like a really bad addict.
It's really bad. Check it out on YouTube. What is everybody's favorite piece of Pokemon merch?
My plushes.
Yeah, the plushies.
I would probably say my is Nemesis watching?
Oh,
I know exactly where this is going.
My $500 Slowpoke. If Nemesis isn't watching, it's my $500 Mary.
not technically merch, although I did get a lovely plushie Totodile, which is one of my favorites as well, from a community member. But I also received as a gift a paper craft Celebi that I'm looking at right now, and if I didn't have to like take these out, I would grab it. But it's really, really pretty, and it's like all 100% paper, and it's sitting with my
Ooh.
plants right now.
Mine is all of my favorite Pokemon I make perler beads out of. So I have a whole collection of them. Clefairy is my coaster. I actually made Mia a Bulbasaur butthole for her coaster.
It's a Bulbasaur butthole.
Yeah, it's a Bulbasaur butthole.
Yeah.
Buttbasaur.
Yeah. I mean, if we're kind of going off of like stuff we've made too, I would have to say like having that collection of Pokemon drawings that I've kept over, almost
All
20
these
years for
years.
some of these. Like I did a stream fairly early in where I redrew some of those designs as what the Pokemon actually is, but I kept my childhood artwork as the basis for it. And then that sort of spawned an idea of like, why don't I have viewers submit, regional variant concepts, and then I'll draw those. And now it's sort of turned into this next year at some point, we're gonna like make an entire region and like come up with like gym leaders, Elite Four, like what would the teams be? Where would these Pokemon live? How would the region be structured? And I'm really excited to do all of that.
I also have this knockoff Sylveon plush that I don't know why the colors are wrong, but I'm so in love with it.
You're the worst.
Is
Kenya,
it a
what's
shiny
your-
Sylveon?
No, it's not. The colors are trust me, I looked.
Kenya, and to finish off the question, what is your favorite merch?
Oh, well, I have to say probably it's my plushes, but I guess it would be my collection of Eevee plushes that I have right now. 'Cause
You
I'm
do a
getting
lot of
each one,
Eevees.
basically. So now I'm just waiting to get like the entire set. So I like how my collection is growing. Also, one of my favorites is my Wailord plush that my roommate Mia got me for my birthday.
Ah,
Last question. There were some more, but this one's the best. You are a Pokemon gym leader.
I already have my answer for this
100%.
one.
I'll say this is like a real Housewives quote, like, cause I'm ready.
What type trainer would you be? I know we already said our favorites, but would you be the same type trainer? And where would you, if you were like, personally, I would be a bug, and I would be champion. Now yourselves, peasants, go ahead.
So my concept would be a poison fairy Elite Four member, so a dual type specialist.
Okay.
And I have the team set up, and I'm shiny hunting for the whole team as well. Right
Ooh.
now. So yeah, it would be like my Elite Four chamber would be like a poison garden, and it would be like about this like duality of like cute and fairy, but also poisonous and deadly.
Love it.
Very on brand, of course.
Mine would totally be, I would want, like, honestly, oh my gosh, Dream World. Obviously, I'd want to be a grass type leader with fairy types. And if you could just, like, make Ballinlee Woods into my entire life.
Yes.
Like, I just want my whole life to be trippy, glowy mushrooms everywhere. That would, I have said 1,000 times, if I need a Pokemon game where you get to be a gym leader. I wouldn't want to be a champion. I would want to be a gym leader. Very specified and very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Kara?
I would kind of be in the same place. Like if I had to pick one town even in the game, it would be the same. It'd be Ballinlee. Mostly, like I remember playing the game for the first time, and when Opal was like, "You don't have what it takes," and I'm like, "I will literally drop everything to take up this position. Let me just be the gym leader. Screw this other kid with a pink coat. I have pink hair and an entirely pink outfit. Give me the job." And so I would do that. I feel like I would probably, I don't know, be a fairy gym leader, but I feel like my setup would be similar to, honestly, Caitlin's room in Black and White in the Elite Four, where it's like really dreamy and like very like elegant. There's like kind of like chiffon hanging from the ceiling, and it's very like otherworldly.
Ooh.
Really, really classy and fancy.
And Kenya?
I know where I'd be. I'd definitely do water type, obviously. I would like to be, I already know what region. I want to be in the Hoenn region. I want to be like the 7th gym. I want to change the gym from, instead of being in the Lopolis or whatever, I want to put it in like Moss Deep by the docks, because I want to be a pirate. I want to have my gym be like Pirates of the Caribbean theme. It's going to be like all whirlpools and everything that you have to jump through, bitch. I have this thing knocked down to a T, girl.
Girl, I'm coming over.
Honestly.
Like fully.
And I couldn't figure out, I was like, there's something about Kenya's look today that I couldn't place where it reminded me of. But you're kind of giving me like Shelly in the remakes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We stand Shelly.
Girl, I love a good Shelly.
I'm here for it. And our last subject is the future of Pokemon. The game's coming out. Obviously, Pokemon Legends Arceus, not sponsored, is coming out in January. And we're all very excited about it. I'm a huge fan of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
Obsessed.
It's so good.
It's so good, and like honestly, I'm really happy that it came out and then I had my surgery. If nobody knows, I had surgery. Because this healing process has been absolute hell. And the game's right there, and it's new, and it's fun. I love it.
I've spent so many hours in the underground for no fucking reason.
Absolutely.
I'm just digging to dig.
I'm literally just digging around to play puzzles. Like, what's the point?
It's
It
so
doesn't
good.
even matter, but I will do it for hours.
Oh,
Good
it's
to see what
fucking
you find.
amazing.
The day after Thanksgiving, my best friend stayed over, and I was originally just gonna like take her home right away in the morning. Blah 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 blah. Bitch, no! I sat on the couch. We all did. We all sat on the couch and played video games for 6.5 hours uninterrupted. I think we maybe each said 4 words. That whole time, I was in the underground for well over 2/3 of it. Like,
It's wonderful.
just bopping and thotting around and knocking shit down.
It's gotten.
Are we all getting Pokemon? I mean, I imagine most of us are Pokemon streamers or main
Yeah.
Pokemon. That's the hardest thing too. When anybody comes into my stream and they're always like, "Are you getting Legends Arceus?" And I'm like, "Pokemon literally pays my bills. Of course, I'm getting Legends Arceus. Pokemon could shit in a bag and I would buy it. Like, do you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
What are we excited about with Legends Arceus?
More regional variants.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I think regional variants are the smartest thing that the Pokemon Company and Game Freak have done in years. And I'm really excited by what they've already put out. I'm also somebody who cannot avoid a leak and actively end up seeking them out.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very excited by what is potentially to come if they're accurate, because there's some good stuff in there.
I'm
so excited
really
for
excited
the new
for Cleaver.
illustration style. It is
Yes.
so artistic and beautiful, and I feel like it gives like the first sign of like maturity. I feel like this game was developed understanding and knowing that people our generation are still playing the game. And I feel that same level of seriousness was taken when Zelda did their newest game. And so that illustration style overlap is just very exciting for me. It's so beautiful and artistic. And it like, I feel like it like removes, it doesn't remove, it like separates the camp a tiny bit, which I kind of love because I feel like I take the anime so seriously and I feel like I take the manga so seriously, but like in the games it does feel like there's almost an element of camp because of the illustration style. So I'm just excited to see it take itself a little more seriously. I don't know.
You know, we also
I
we
get.
mentioned I don't want to play the game where I'm just beating the elite. I feel like Sun and Moon tried to do that. I think it's the first game where I literally feel like I'm going to be a researcher.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to put myself in a fantasy world, and I'm going to fucking discover things. You know what I mean? Which is kind of
Yeah,
what like the
exactly.
underground is getting me. Like, I'm just fucking
Right.
digging shit, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, because like from what we've seen, it's not a matter of like just catch the Pokemon once and then it's in your dex and then you're good. It's catch multiple of this Pokemon because we need more of these to analyze.
Mm.
Yep.
And
You have to learn.
Yeah,
You're
and, like-
literally being a hero.
And like I remember reading an interview pretty recently about the development, and they said that like the bigger, I can't think of what they're supposed to be called, like the warden Pokemon, like the big
Yeah.
boss fight
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
They really pulled a lot of inspiration from playing like the Monster Hunter series, and
Oh, yeah.
and like wanted to
Fun.
take notes from that. And like Sissy said, I feel like this is very much a directional shift where they're like Diamond and Pearl, like the games for like the younger audience, but also like for people who played Diamond and Pearl the first time around, and people who know that traditional Pokemon formula. Legends
Well, I would-
Arceus is for people who are older, who want something that's different, that's a refresh of the franchise.
I think it's fun, and I invite all of you to play Legends Arceus with me. And I cannot wait to shiny hunt against any of you that wish to try to challenge me. Except for Kara, she can't, she cheats.
I do not.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Mia is a sore loser. Get over
Shit,
it.
Mia
Exactly.
is the sorest loser, but also the sorest winner because she will rub it in your face.
Oh,
I've
Yeah, or
accepted my
lose.
defeat
We'll tell you
from
to
the
fuck
Clash.
off.
She's it.
over and over. Or
This is what I
get
have to
fucked.
live with.
So one last question we have about the new games. Who here is going to have a Sui and Growlithe on their team?
Not me.
I think me probably because I am a huge fan of not only Growlithe, but the concept that it's based on. The Shisa statues is what it appears
Oh,
to be based
so
on.
cute.
Hmm.
Because also as a Godzilla nerd, I love King Caesar. Shout out to them.
We do have a little bit of time for some final self promo. So if you would like to tell your fabulous audience members, and thank you everybody so much for watching, of course, a little bit about yourself. If you stream or are streaming, what game are you going to be playing, Pokemon related, and what can we expect from you in the future with your Pokemon journeys?
Who's starting?
Kenya, because she should be streaming soon, hopefully.
Yay!
Well, there we go. No. But yes, my name is Kenya Mohart. Again, it was nice meeting you all. It was nice streaming being here. I do plan on streaming again and returning once I get a gaming PC so that I can stop streaming off of my hot, pissy ass Mac. So, because, oh girl, she is mad. She be upset. So, catch out for that. But if you'd like to know when I'll be streaming, you can follow me on Instagram at KenyaMone_CT. You can also add me on Facebook and on Twitter as well. Just choose which Twitter you want to follow. I'll say choose wisely. That's all.
Thank
Other
you,
than
Kenya.
that, it's been nice talking to y'all.
We also have Caricature.
Yeah, you can find me here on Twitch at twitch.tv/caricature, Instagram and TikTok at caricature, Kara_Couture on Twitter. We are going to be doing some of this regional design work. Some of it on stream. I have a lot that I need to do like pre-evolutions for that I did over the last year. Mia actually requested one of them, a Bug and Steel Scolipede that ended up being based off of a motorcycle. So we're going to do like a whole entire Steam thing for that. But we're gonna do more of that. Obviously, playing more Pokemon. I have a 3DS for streaming that is being made that will be here early this next year. So we're gonna be streaming on original console, doing more Nuzlocke, actual run-throughs of gens 4 through 7 over that, and a whole bunch of other stuff because I can't make a decision. I do way too many things.
That's okay. Thank you, Kara. We have Sissy Tops.
Hi, again, I am Sissy Tops. I am a variety streamer on here, mostly Pokemon, sometimes Zelda, and very recently Animal Crossing, because I have dove in right back in. And I'm actually turning my entire island into a glowy mushroom bell in Lee Woods. So you can catch me streaming always on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I generally start my streams by beating this mug and then going into some Pokemans. But yeah, please follow me here at Sissy_Tops on Twitch.tv. And then you can find me at Sissy.Tops on the Instagram for makeup photos and tutorials.
Thank you, Sissy. Of course, we have Erica Clash.
Oh, hi everybody. My name is Erica Clash. That's Erica with a K, Clash with a K. You can find me at twitch.tv/Erica Clash. In my VOD section, I have a in-depth tour of my Pokemon Home collection, which is an expanded living dex. So check that out if that's your thing. And we're doing BDSP obviously right now. We're going to be doing Legends Arceus. And then I do want to do a run through of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness relatively soon. We actually, a couple months back, we also did the Pokemon XD Mount Battle Challenge, which is rather fun. So that's another reminder to get those games. And also, Kara, tell me where the fuck you get this 3DS because I am desperate for one.
Yeah,
I really want to do a Generation 2 run Shiny Lock. I have a bunch of shinies sitting in Gen 2 ready for it.
Thank you, Erica. And my name is Matt Easylay. I'm your moderator today for the Pokemon panel. I want to say thank you so much for joining us. You can follow me on twitch.tv/MattEasylay, where you can catch me streaming nothing but Dead by Daylight. So I'm so happy you could be here this evening. And do not forget that you're gorgeous, glamorous, and stunning. If you've not told yourself you're beautiful today, please go do that. If not, hopefully one of your Pokemon friends will let you know that you look gorgeous. Thank you so much, everybody.